Good morning, traders. Welcome to today's market review. This is Razak at CMtrading. Today's December 28th, 2020, and today is Monday morning. So welcome back, everybody, and happy holidays. And coming and looking at today's highlights. Already, the markets are up on the signing of the stimulus package by Donald Trump. Now, as we look at the economic events of the day, nothing's scheduled, but the markets are rallying. It's not across the board, but they are rallying. Looking at the US dollar, pretty much unchanged. While the Dow Jones and the Nasdaq rally higher on the stimulus, the Nasdaq making all-time record highs. Looking at commodities, gold retraced at 1900 and oil pretty much steady. While the question remains, who's going to benefit the most out of this stimulus package? Which stocks? I'm going to discuss that as we do some technical analysis. And lastly, looking at Bitcoin. Wow, we went up to 27,000 points or $27,000 per Bitcoin. That's an amazing rally for Bitcoin on record highs. So let's take a look at the markets and see what we can expect from today's trading. So we're going to jump straight into it. We're going to take a look at Bitcoin on a daily chart. You can see it hit this 26,662 right now, or 962 rather right now, but it is gaining some momentum on the outside. Now it did hit 28,000 as it made this all-time new high. So this is really very important to understand, because as we broke above our 20,000, this is an 8,000 point move. And conceivably, we can retrace all the way back to about 24,000. Now, that has not happened, okay? Last week, we had this nice little pivot. Now, in retrospect, this does look like a bull flag. Look at that. And then taking it higher. So, conceivably, this could still go higher, okay? It still has some room to go higher. 30,000 is a nice round-up number, so let's give that as a next possible. I mean, that's orbital, okay? You can't really tell how much further this could possibly go higher. And, you know, this is beyond any of our expectations for this year, at least. Now, this is really on the back of the fact that the markets are kind of still in COVID mode, okay? As there are some concerns about inflation, but people are not necessarily going to gold as a haven for that. Now, if we look at the Forex symbols, they're quite tight, okay? Right now, we're looking at the Eur Usd trading at 122.28-ish level. It's up about 20 pips, okay, for the day. So what would you rather trade, okay? Would you rather trade something that went up 20 pips or something that went up to 5,000 pips, okay? You'd obviously want to trade something with more volatility. But with volatility comes a lot of responsibility, because the higher the volatility, the potential of losing money is also there. So just be aware that that's a double-edged sword. Now, nothing happened with the GBP as we're looking at it 135.70-ish level, really on its highs here. Okay, the volume has actually kind of went down here as this is making this new high. So I'm a little bit less inclined to think that it's going to break out, but something to consider. If it does retrace, we could retrace back to this 133-ish level. Not a big retracement, but something to, you know, to make a couple of dollars in the week wouldn't be so bad, right? So looking at gold right now, we retraced down to 1886 from a 1900 high. Okay, now that's been in a pretty tight range, okay? For all intents and purposes, you know, we've been trading between 1900 and 1877, a decent amount of area to be trading with, but nevertheless, we're right now smack in the middle, so really nothing to really jump out. Now, if it does get closer to this 1877-ish level, I'd look to buy it. You know, going into the end of the year, I think it's going to continue being strong. Oil, pretty much unchanged, 47.77, nothing really doing there. Now, looking at the Nasdaq, hitting all-time highs this morning to 12,800-ish level as we hit this massive area, okay, of, you know, the stimulus package being passed. Now, looking at the Dow Jones, also trading on 30,274, also on its highs or close to its highs. So, with that said, the markets are going to absorb this. Now, the two markets that should gain the most out of this are the bank stocks for liquidity, as adding more money into the markets. And also, I would expect the airline businesses to actually, you know, start perking up again. You know, we are still in the midst of the pandemic. Okay, we're not completely out of it, but vaccines are coming out and they're being disseminated as we speak around the world, especially in the United States. That's number one. Number two, there is a mutation of COVID-19 that is yet to show us exactly its ramifications. Okay. Now, most experts are saying that, the vaccine should cover you for any kind of mutation, but that has, like I said, yet to be seen. Okay, so that may be the case, and I hope it is the case for all intents and purposes. So looking at the markets in 6 months from now, which these are the future markets, okay, I do expect the markets to rally back at some point, because we're going to be taking into consideration that within the next 6 months, we hope to be at least through 2/3 out of this pandemic, okay? Maybe still a third of a time towards next year at this time. We're completely out of it. I'm hoping, okay? But that is yet to be seen. So looking at the stocks, JP Morgan ended the day strong last Friday at 124. So if it does get that perk up, we could be back in that 135-ish level. Looking at Apple, also really strong because Apple's coming out with a car. Okay, go figure. But that's a positive news for Apple, and it did perk up higher, and I do expect it to continue perking up higher. Now, looking at Alcoa, it did, kind of fizzle out last week, so nothing really doing much there. Some of the other big techs like Facebook and Amazon not really being particularly strong. Okay, so I'm not jumping to them, okay, with this stimulus package news. Okay, so just be aware of it. I do expect the markets to rally this week, but just be careful because, a lot of people are taking their money off the table as we're coming to the last week of the year, okay? And people want to book their gains so that they could, write off some of their losses for 2020, okay? So that might be a reason that we may retrace a little bit. Now, this Wednesday night, we'll have a live webinar discussing the 2020 in review, God help us, and 2021 outlook, okay? So I hope you guys can make it. This is Fred Razak. I want to wish everybody a great trading day. Thank you.